Mr. Purchase, the defendant was a tenant of yours for 4 years.
Yes.
And you had a lease with her, and that lease was renewed each year in writing.
Yes.
And the last time it was renewed was in what month? Did you sign a lease? March.
Yes, ma'am.
And that lease was to run from when to when?
May 1st of 2018 to May 1st of 2019.
You have a copy of that lease?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it. And you, Mr. Purchase, sent Miss Cole a copy of that lease.
Yes,
you
I
sent
did.
her that lease.
Yes.
To renew because she was a good tenant. She paid her rent on time. Had no trouble with her for 4 years. Did I come out here without my glasses? I can't use your glasses.
You could.
Maybe I could.
I'm sure they're going to be a little larger.
I'm going to go get my glasses. I'll be right back. You prepared this lease, sir.
Yes.
And the defendant signed the lease. Hmm?
Yes.
Yes. And you signed the lease.
Yes, I did.
After you signed this lease, which is a contract, you changed your mind about continuing to rent the house.
Yes.
Which you can't do. By the way, you can't do that. You can't break this lease.
I had a 30-day notice clause in the lease stating that if for some reason either party needed to break the lease, I just needed to give 30 days notice. I gave her probably 120 days, actually,
Well,
notice.
why did you need to break the lease?
I was...
Because you wanted to sell it.
Yes.
Well, that's not needing to break the lease. That's because you wanted to break the lease. In any event, you said after you went into the house and looked at the house had a lot of damage in it after 4 years, and you had a buyer for the house for $149,000, and the buyer backed out because of the condition of the home. So you want $5,000 from her for the diminished value of the home, which you don't get, and for unpaid rent. Well, let's see about the unpaid rent. What months did she not pay?
She did not pay for the month of July, and in the last 2 months, utilities, June and July.
Okay. What was her rent?
Her rent with the new lease was adjusted up to $1,650 a month.
What was the old rent?
$1,575.
You mean you want me to use the new rent from in here, even though you breached this lease?
Yes.
Are you kidding? All right. Did you live there in July?
Yes, ma'am. Well, actually, I was moving in July.
Well, I know, but your
yes,
stuff was there in July.
technically, yes,
Did you
ma'am.
pay July's rent?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you owe him July's rent.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
far.
But I told him that he could use my deposit for that if he had to, but he told me I could continue to stay there and show the house. For the inconvenience, I wouldn't have to pay him any rent.
This man told you that?
Yes, ma'am.
This man who wants to use this as the basis for pushing the rent up?
Yes, ma'am.
No, he didn't say that to you. All right, $1,575. Now, you have a counterclaim for the return of your security. But if you return your security deposit, then you owe him the rent. So that's gone. And moving expenses.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you tell him that you didn't want to move?
I didn't technically, no, I did not say I don't want to move.
Okay.
But he told me that he was going to tell people that I was going to live there and they were going to be investment people. So I didn't feel rushed to hurry and move because he said it was going to be an investment property, which that wasn't true at all.
Well, he might have said that to you. I believe that he's probably capable of doing that. In any event, you can't have it both ways. Did you keep her security deposit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, then she doesn't owe you any rent.
Part of this case is that due to the extensive amount of damages that were incurred when I was finally able to get into the house and look at it, that...
The house had diminished value. And you sold the house
for $15,000.
You don't have any proof of that, sir. Because what you say in your complaint is that you had a prospective buyer for $149,000, and that buyer backed out. You say the reason is because of the condition of the home. But you don't have the buyer here to testify that that was the reason they backed out. Maybe they backed out because they didn't like you. Who knows why they backed out? Anyway, you can't have it both ways. So you kept a security deposit so you don't get the rent, so your case is dismissed, and you didn't pay your month's rent in July,
Correct.
so you lose your security deposit. We're done here. Goodbye,
Wait, I have a
adios,
counterclaim.
arrivederci.
I have a counterclaim.
And I just said you can't get your security deposit,
not
madam.
not that.
He's not paying you for moving expenses.
Okay.
Goodbye.